should. Make sure. Wait, what? Um, let's see, 12 minute. Good morning. Trying to get up here so I can. My things don't work, it seems. The comments. Hi, Gregory. Good morning. How are you? Let's see. 10 minutes. Thick madam. You're funny. Sweet. Thank you. That's good. Let's see. Master. Shri. Karshna. Meditating. 12 minutes. That's it. Some good, because there's so much negativity out here and stuff. I like to meditate. Plus, my birthday's in a couple of days, you know, and my mom's anniversary is right here, so just doing some meditations. I mean, I meditate anyway. This just makes it a little easier. So if you guys could give yourself 12 minutes. I was going to do a new one, but I have not vetted it yet. Oh, thank you so much, Gregory. I appreciate you. It's August 1st. Thank you. I will be 55. Yay. Some people are not happy about their ages and their this, that. I'm not one of those people. I feel like God has blessed me to reach this age, and I feel blessed. I'm blessed because a lot of people did not make it to this age, you know? Alice. Hi, Suzanne. Susanna, is that it? I have to. You know, I have to. There is no way, right? I have to stay positive. All this negativity that's out here, you know? Hi, Leonardo. I didn't see your comment. Hi, Vanessa. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for the like. I appreciate you. I am in Connecticut. Where are you at? That's good, Vanessa. You know, I've been getting people in here from like Africa, and he told me the name. I forgot it that quick. You're in New Orleans? Nice. It must be nice down there, huh? I'm in Connecticut. Well, you know what? It's still hot here, but thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. It's still hot here, but this weather is bipolar. It literally was like 67 degrees. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate you. So are you. Um, it was literally like 71 degrees, 72 degrees, or 67 degrees last week. It was freezing. No, I wasn't even freezing. I don't even know. It was cold. I had to have on a jacket. Maybe our skin is different in the summertime. I don't know. No, you can't. What's complaining gonna do, right? Nothing. But still make you hot. And then when you focus on it, you're even hotter, right? I'm not either. I try to find the best in things, whatever it is. That's all we can do. Because you know what? When you focus on the negative comes. When you focus on the positive, then that's what you bring in. So if you guys could give yourself 12 minutes, we can get started. I'm ready the weather then, people. Same. 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 I am that way. Because, and you know, that's why I try. I wish, not even wish, I think we can all raise the vibration together because these people out here are so mean and I don't have time. Like this lady looked at me the other day and it just like she could kill me because the lady that does my nails, it's funny, but it's not. She was being funny because some people don't age well. And, you know, the lady said that she was going to be 40. And the other lady was like, "You're going to be 55, right?" What hours? I come on every morning at 8:30, Vanessa. I might start doing at night too for a little while. But usually about 8:30 I come on before work because I feel like a lot of times people, you know how you start your day and there's like negative. You walk out the door is negativity. So I feel like when I meditate, when I go out into the world, I have that little layer of protection of peacefulness with me. So when these crazy people come out here with their attitudes and they're this and they're that, I'm not. I kind of push it right off and they look. And I'll give you this one thing. I went to CVS, right? And normally I comb my hair. That's what, I was raised to do before I go outside. This one day I had to go to the ATM. I had to go real quick and I forgot to comb my hair because I was thinking about that. So when I was walking in, this lady was looking at me like, and she said, "Ugh, ugly, right? Trash." So I kind of looked at her, but of course I didn't think she was talking about me because I thought she, you know what I mean? She just had a negative aura and I hadn't said anything or looked at her. I went to the ATM. You know the little mirror at the ATM? I saw the bonnet lady. So I looked around like I thought it was somebody else. I was the bonnet lady. When I tell you I cracked up because I thought somebody was looking over my shoulder, when I tell you I was dying laughing, and as I realized it was me, I turned around and the lady was she looked like she could just explode because she had said that negative thing and I did not react to it. I didn't think it was me. When I realized that she was talking about me and I looked up and she was staring at me, mad, it made it even funnier because I had no clue she was talking about me. When I tell you I laughed myself out that store, I was cracking up and she was mad as heck. And those are the things you realize, people will try to throw their anger or their madness off on you for no reason, just because to get some of that off of them. And when they make you mad, they feel better, right? So I feel like you're going to take my goodness, right, Gregory? You're going to take my good feeling and it's going to make you feel better because you made me mad. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be nice and happy over here and ignore you. Just don't touch me. God's still working on me. That's how I said. God's still working on me. Just don't touch me and we good. So listen, if you guys could give yourself 12 minutes and just sit back and meditate with me, right? Isn't that funny? But that's not the only thing. Like things like that happen a lot, I notice. And I notice that people will say things to people just to get them. Like I just noticed that I watch people and I'm just like, I'm not giving you my joy, so I'm not gonna react. And I look at people and people get mad at me. I've had people get mad at me because I look at them like this. Hear my stomach? I gotta eat. Look, I look at them like this. Cause I look at them, or either I just look, just stare. But because I'm wondering what I'm just wondering, like, what made you say that to me? Like, you don't even know me, right? Like, you don't even know me. You, like, even, okay, work people. You don't even know me. You don't know anything about me. Like, my son was telling me about someone at his job. And he's like, they don't even know me. I said, so why would you even react to it? Like, ignore them. It's going to make them mad and it's going to keep your spirit great and keep it moving. Now, if somebody put their hands on you, don't got nothing to do with that. Okay, here we go. Let's do this real quick, okay? Here we go. When I do tune in energetically, I like to have the person say their name a few times, and that's enough for me to catch that frequency. Here's who they are. I don't think of it as connecting. Visualize. You ready? And it will come. Welcome to this powerful law of attraction visualization, where we'll unlock your energies, raise your vibrational frequency, wait. Connect to the universe. That's it. Wait, my volume. Hold on. Get my glasses. Hang on 1 second. Let's change devices because the volume on this is horrible. I couldn't even hear, could you? I wasn't thinking. Let's see, Master Shri. Get it together here. Welcome to this powerful law of attraction visualization, where we'll unlock your energies,
Visualize, and
better.
it will come. Welcome to this powerful law of attraction visualization, where we'll unlock your energies, raise your vibrational frequency, connect to the universe, and set some powerful intentions through visuals. If you just allow yourself to be calm and peaceful, be comfortably seated with your palms facing up to allow the energies to circulate, and just gently close your eyes and just focus lightly towards your breath. Take a deep inhale and gentle exhale. And as you continue with the slow, deep inhale, exhale, you're just allowing yourself to settle yourself more and more into this very moment. As you get comfortable and relaxed, with all your focus towards the sound of your breath and no thoughts. Inhale, exhale. I'd like you to visualize a bright light towards the third eye. Almost like a portal is opening up. Allow that light to become brighter and brighter. Allow it to become brighter and brighter. Almost like the sunlight is shining in your eyes with your eyes closed. It's a powerful portal. It's inviting. It's calming. It's cleansing. This powerful white light. And allow it, as you visualize, for it to continue to expand. Expand that light further and further. Brighter and brighter. And just allow yourself to start feeling the energies of this light. It's powerful. The vibrations of love and positivity are strong. And allow yourself to feel connected with these energies as it connects with your heart center. And you feel it connecting. And slowly, slowly allow your energies to merge with this bright light, so that you almost see yourself floating up towards the third eye and in through the portal, arriving there. As you visualize and you see the light is all around you, the bright light. I'd like you now to visualize yourself standing there with absolute confidence, holding a strong power pose, knowing that you're just about to embark on a powerful journey. This journey towards your greatest manifestations. And just keep breathing, inhale, exhale. As you settle in this visualization, You stood there right in the center of the bright light. And you visualize yourself allowing yourself to slowly step forward, stepping forward into the new you, into your new reality. And as you visualize yourself stepping forward into this space, I'd like you now in the far distance to start bringing in the visual of your manifestation. Allow the image to start to appear. That thing that you want to attract, that situation, that scenario, just allow it, that imagery to start coming in from the distance. Focus intensely towards this visual. What is happening? Where are you? And who are you with? And just see it playing in the far distance. See it playing there. What is happening? How beautiful is this manifestation? And as you see it in the far distance, I'd like you to feel that excitement. That excitement that all you visualize, it will come. And you are now stepping forward. Visualize yourself to start stepping forward into that space. And breathe, inhale, exhale. As you continue walking forward into this space, continue to walk forward into the visualization, into the scenario, into your manifestation. Walk into it like you're walking into a movie. And once you enter into that environment, that surrounding, that dream, that goal, as you step into it, feel the sensation throughout every cell of your body that now, right now in this very moment, you are claiming your manifestation. You are here now in this very moment, witnessing, experiencing, feeling every sensation of this manifestation. See it clearly all around you right now. What is happening? What is your manifestation? Where are you? What does it look like? Who is with you? And start allowing for the rest of your senses to come into play. See it clearly as if it's happening right now. Your greatest dream, your goal, your manifestation. See it clearly. Look all around you. What is happening? How beautiful is it? How excited are you? And start allowing yourself to also hear the sounds in this space. Hear what are the sounds that are in this manifestation. What does this space smell like, taste like, feel like? As you are fully encompassed in this visual, allow yourself to feel every sensation of it. Feel that excitement, that joy, that liberation, that blissful feeling and knowing that your manifestation is already done and you are here now witnessing it. It's beautiful. It's powerful. Just know that your manifestation in this moment is already done. Feel the sensations through every cell of your body and slowly draw this energy in. Take a slow inhale. Draw it into every cell of your body. Claim it. Claim your manifestation now and exhale. Bring these energies in from outer reality into this physical reality. And allow your energies to come back into this very moment, here now, as you claim your manifestation in this physical reality. And in your own time, just allow your energies to slowly come back. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back here now. Namaste.
That's it. Okay, now we can talk again.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself,
reminds me of the statues on Easter Island. Really. I have a square head. Hi, Beard Weird. How are you? This morning. Let's see. Let me get this down more. Because there is. I'm going to be down here for a minute. Gel. Where's my... Let's see. Okay, we still here? I'm trying to... Because I know what's my color and what's not, you know? I have... Yes, it did. I don't know. Who knows? You know, these days and time. As long as I don't got no. So, can you tell me, like, does anybody have anything on their agenda today? What's today? Wednesday. Look at my little calendar. Hold on. Okay, so it's only me and you here.
Of course I'm going to say that's a great idea.
So let's listen. To this music while I do my face. You know what? I found a new facial exercise out, and it's great. It's this. Mwah. 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 more. This is for all of this, and it works. It takes time, but it works. Here we go.
Then flips you off right to your face on Christmas Eve. Well, imagine this. Your 9-year-old nephew blatantly pours soda all over your laptop, then flips you off right to your face on Christmas Eve. What would you do? Stay quiet to avoid stirring up conflict? Or would you stand up and say what no one in the family has ever had the guts to say out loud? That's precisely the situation I found myself in. What should have been a warm and cozy Christmas night turned into a moment that shattered all the unspoken boundaries in my family. And from that night on, our relationships began to fall apart in ways no one ever saw coming. Stay with me. Let me tell you what happened next. Hello, everyone. My name is William. I'm 28 years old and live in a small apartment in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a software engineer working remotely for a tech company based in San Francisco. The job gives me the flexibility to focus on projects I care about. More importantly, it gives me the quiet space that fits the kind of life I've chosen to live for years now. Before moving out alone, I lived with my dad, Todd, in a 2-story house in the suburbs. My mom passed away 5 years ago. After that, I decided to stay a little longer. Not because I couldn't start an independent life, but because I knew that when a family goes through loss, sometimes just being there is the only thing holding it all together. The fundamental shift started when my older brother, Michael, returned from Berlin with his wife Andrea and their son, Levi, after living in Europe for 7 years. At the time, I didn't think much of it. They said it would be temporary, just until they got back on their feet after an investment project fell through. In the beginning, everyone kept things respectful. So did I. But then, on Christmas Eve 2023, something happened. On the surface, it didn't seem like a big deal. But from that night on, the quiet boundaries I had spent years holding in place began to crack. And I realized something more clearly than ever before. There are some lines, once crossed, where nothing ever really goes back to how it was. December 2023, for the first time in nearly a decade, our whole family...
Mr. Washington, you have a date with the hangman.
Our whole family sat together around the dinner table, gathered for Christmas in my dad's 2-story house tucked away in a quiet Cincinnati suburb. There was something about the atmosphere that felt both familiar and strangely off. The Christmas tree was perfectly decorated. The warm yellow glow of the floor lamp filled the corner of the room just like always, and the faint scent of cinnamon lingered in the air. But inside, it didn't feel like the holidays I used to know. Dinner that night was a full spread: roast turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, warm dinner rolls, and a few extra dishes my sister-in-law Andrea had helped prepare. Initially, everyone spoke politely, carefully skirting around anything that might stir tension. Even my dad seemed more open than usual. He sat at the head of the table, mostly listening, occasionally topping off someone's glass. Right in the middle of dinner, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. I checked the screen, and as soon as I read the notification, I knew I couldn't ignore it. A critical system error had just popped up that directly affected the project I was overseeing. And in our tech team, I was the only one with high-level access to resolve it. I excused myself and went upstairs to my workspace, a small, organized room at the end of the second-floor hallway, set up specifically so I could jump into work at any moment. I logged in and started running diagnostics, but a few minutes in, I realized I'd left my authentication device in the car. I immediately headed downstairs, walked through the hallway, and into the garage. After grabbing the device, I quickly moved back toward the second floor. But as I reached the hallway near my room, I froze. The door was wide open, and I saw Levi, Michael's son, standing in front of my desk in the middle of the room. What made me stop in my tracks was what he was holding: an open can of soda, still fizzing at the top. Before I could react, Levi tilted the can and poured the entire thing over the keyboard of my running laptop. I rushed in and yanked his arm away from the desk, but it was already too late. The screen flickered once, then went black. Everything I was working on disappeared right in front of me. I turned to him, my voice shaking with anger, and shouted, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" He stepped back, and momentarily, I thought he realized he'd gone too far. But then came the look, and what he did next stopped me cold. Because what Levi did didn't look like guilt. It looked like defiance. He stared straight at me, squinted his eyes, and stuck out his tongue like it was some joke. But there was no nervous laughter, no fear in his eyes. Then, as if that wasn't enough, he calmly raised his middle finger at me, like he was daring me to do something about it. He didn't say a word, didn't blink, just turned around and walked out of the room with the same calm stride, like none mattered. I stood there, frozen. The anger didn't explode. It sank into my chest like a weight I couldn't lift. Not because of the laptop, but because of that look in his eyes. The look of a 9-year-old who, in that moment, stripped me of every bit of respect I had in my own home. It didn't feel like some childish act of rudeness. It felt like a deliberate, clear line and had just been crossed. And I knew this time I wouldn't let it slide. In just a few short seconds, I had lost all my work data on the Dell XPS and found myself face to face with a blatant act of defiance from my nephew. No apology, no fear, just a cold, mocking attitude that made it impossible to treat this as a simple accident. Since Levi moved back in with his parents, I have repeatedly reminded him that my office is not a place to run around. I told him that space needs to be respected, but my words never seemed to register. Every time it happened, Andrea would smile and gently say, "Don't be so serious, Uncle William. He's always been high energy." Back then, I stayed silent after her excuses. But this time, I couldn't back down anymore. Keeping my face calm, I walked straight down to the dining room. Without waiting for anyone to ask, I called out Levi's name, loud enough for everyone at the table to pause mid-conversation. As soon as he heard me, the boy turned his head, then quickly moved toward Andrea, hiding entirely behind her. I stepped closer, kept my tone steady but firm, and said to him, "You need to apologize for what you just did." Still standing behind his mom, Levi shot back with a short, unwavering response. "I didn't do anything wrong." I paused, not because of the words, but because of how calmly and confidently he said them. Like what just happened didn't matter, and he truly believed he didn't have to take responsibility for his actions. After speaking, he lowered his head and stayed put, like that brief exchange didn't need to go any further. A moment later, I turned to Michael and Andrea and told them everything that had just happened, from beginning to end. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't exaggerate. I just laid out the facts exactly as I witnessed them. When I finished, Andrea looked at me, puzzled, and frowned slightly. Then she answered in a firm, unwavering voice, "You're saying Levi did that?" "No, I don't believe it." Michael stayed silent. My brother just sat there, eyes fixed on me like he was trying to figure out what hidden motive I might have. He didn't ask a single question. He didn't try to understand. Just a long, tense silence. Looking at their reactions, it hit me. What they were reacting to wasn't the story itself. It was the fact that I dared to speak it out loud at the dinner table. They didn't want the truth. They felt insulted for being forced to face their son's behavior. The air in the room grew heavier. Everyone's eyes turned downward. No one spoke. No one looked me in the eye. I stood in the same house I'd known for years, feeling like I had stepped into a place I was never really invited into. At that point, I didn't feel disappointed. I wasn't even angry anymore. Only one thought came through, loud and clear. If this silence continues, if this avoidance keeps repeating itself, then what happened today is just the beginning. After watching everyone's reactions in that room, one thing became painfully clear. They didn't believe me. No one asked questions. No one turned to the kid to confirm what had happened. They didn't care whether he did it or not. The only thing they wanted now was to move past it, as if the story I had just told was nothing more than a personal overreaction, not worth discussing any further. I knew I had to show proof to cut through this haze of denial. Without saying another word, I pulled my phone from my pocket and opened the video clip from the camera I had set up in my office. The footage was crystal clear and undeniable. Levi walked into the room with a soda can in hand and tipped it directly over the keyboard. Then he turned back, stuck out his tongue, and flipped me off. I handed the phone to Andrea. I said nothing. She stared at the screen momentarily, her face flickering with discomfort. But after just a few seconds, her voice came out smooth and light, like she was commenting on something harmless. She probably picked that up somewhere. It was just an accident. That response hit me like someone had sucked the air straight out of my lungs. I turned to Michael, hoping for something different. But he leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms, and said slowly, "Don't make a big deal out of this. You're the adult. Don't stoop to a kid's level." With every word he said, my anger didn't build. It drained. What rose instead was a hollow, numbing emptiness. They had seen it all. They had every fact laid out in front of them. They still chose to side with the kid, not because they didn't understand, but because they refused to face the truth. Their son did this. I looked over at Levi. He was still standing beside his mother, face calm, the corner of his mouth slightly raised in what looked like a half smirk. No fear, no regret. And in that moment, I understood something deeply. This kid had never been taught to take responsibility for his actions, and his parents had never really tried to teach him. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I stood up sharply and raised my voice, firm and loud enough for the entire family to hear. That's what you call an accident? You saw the video. Are you asking me to explain this? Are you all blind? The dining room fell completely silent the second I finished speaking. Andrea turned her face away, lips pressed tightly, her hand clutching Levi's shoulder like she was trying to pull him closer. Michael lifted his eyes to meet mine, and this time, there was no confusion in his expression. It had shifted into a quiet confrontation. He didn't say a word, but I could feel it. We both knew what was happening now. The air in the room had changed. The earlier silence was gone. What replaced it was a subtle, spreading tension, unspoken but heavy, moving across the table, into each glance, and the spaces between us. My dad was still seated at the far end of the table. He hadn't said a word. He leaned into his chair, holding his half-finished glass of wine. His gaze was fixed on me, steady, unreadable. I couldn't tell if it was anger, concern, or something he was still trying to process, waiting for the right moment to step in. I didn't say anything else, but inside me, something had begun to settle, cold, steady, and unmistakable. I kept my eyes on Levi, a tight, nameless feeling swelling in my chest. The air felt thick, every breath compressed under tense stares. Suddenly, Michael shoved his chair back and stood up, slamming his hand on the table. The sound was sharp and dry, rattling the entire dinner table. He looked at me, fury burning in his eyes, then shouted, "What the hell did you just say, William? Don't you lie to me. I'm your brother." The shout stopped me cold. The man in front of me wasn't the older brother who used to talk things through. He was reacting on instinct, like I'd touched something forbidden inside him. In that moment, I looked at Michael, who had once been my most significant support during childhood. The one who stepped up to defend me at a family gathering when they called me a weirdo, just because I buried myself in computers all day. He once said, "If you know you're right, then you've got the right to speak up." And yet now, just because his son had done something wrong, he was the first to act like I was out of line. Before I could say a word, my father's voice rang out.
Can this company use your house to trial their radically simple new roofing technology? They're looking for homeowners.
Son had done something wrong. He was the first to act like I was out of line. Before I could say a word, my father's voice rang out. It wasn't loud, but clear, each word impossible to ignore. "Everyone, sit down. Now." The room fell into an eerie silence. Andrea leaned toward her son, placing a hand on Levi's shoulder to keep him still. Michael didn't move. His hands were still firmly pressed on the table, and his eyes locked on me. A few seconds later, my father stood tall in the open space. His gaze swept across each of his children and grandchildren, then stopped on Levi. His voice was deep, slow, and firm. "Levi, what you did was wrong. Apologize to your Uncle William." After my father's demand, Levi said nothing. He turned his head to the side, eyes avoiding everyone, fingers clutching lightly at the edge of his shirt. Andrea leaned down and whispered something in his ear. Her voice was so quiet that only the two of them could hear it, but I caught every word. "It's okay, sweetheart. We're right here." My father stayed exactly where he was. He didn't turn around or change his expression, but his hands slowly curled into fists, like he was holding back everything he felt after hearing that. At that moment, I felt something cracking beneath the surface of this house, which I used to know so well. There was no yelling, nothing shattered, but something had shifted for sure, and it wasn't going back. When my dad stayed silent after Andrea whispered to him, I thought things might end there. But just a few seconds later, Michael spoke up, and this time what he said caught both me and my father completely off guard. His voice was sharp, full of frustration, and he didn't bother to hide his resentment. He raised his voice. "Dad always takes William's side. We've never been treated like that." When Michael finished speaking, my dad lifted his head and looked him straight. His voice dropped. each word deliberate and firm. I choose to stand with what's right. Being an adult doesn't mean you get to teach the wrong thing and let your kid do whatever they want. Before the weight of those words could fully settle, Andrea cut in. Her voice was quick, laced with a hint of sarcasm. He just spilled some soda. He's a kid. After that overly protective remark, I looked at my dad again. His expression hadn't changed much, but in the tightness around his jaw and the corners of his eyes, I could see it. The strain of holding back was starting to show. As for me, what bothered me now had nothing to do with the laptop. What got to me was this: the way they were so willing to trade away moral boundaries to preserve the image of a child who supposedly did nothing wrong. Under the weight of rising tension, what started as a warm Christmas gathering had now fractured into cold, growing silence, visible in every glance and the widening distance between each family member at the table. Everything around us was still precisely the same. The plates of food were warm, the wine glasses were half full, and the tree still glowing in the corner. But among it all, the only thing that felt real now was the suffocating pressure creeping into every inch of the table, into every breath. In that moment, I knew I had to speak. I looked straight at my brother and sister-in-law, kept my tone calm but firm, and said, I backed up the data to the server in time, but that laptop was my work machine. And more than that, being disrespected in my own home isn't something I can pretend didn't happen. I expect the two of you to replace the laptop. As soon as I finished, Andrea looked at me, her lips tightly pressed, before she answered. Her voice was tense and cold. We don't have the money, and we don't think we did anything wrong. Michael sat beside her, hands resting on his knees, eyes fixed on the table's edge. He didn't say a word, no explanation, no attempt to defuse the moment. I waited for something, anything, from him, but the room offered only the sound of shallow breathing and silence that stretched on too long. Seeing how defiant they still were, my father pulled his phone from his pocket, glanced at the screen, then stood up. His voice was weary, but clear. Enough. Go to your rooms. I'll talk to you both in the morning. One by one, they left the table in silence. Their footsteps echoed flatly across the wooden floor. No one looked at each other. The night ended with a quiet, aching distance between people who were supposed to be family. I remained where I was, staring at the untouched plates, the clutter still sitting on the table. My chest felt heavy, and I could feel it without a doubt. Tomorrow morning will not be just another ordinary day. After everyone quietly retreated to their rooms that night, the entire house felt swallowed by a heavy, thick silence. Everything had gone still, as if every word spoken earlier had left behind a residue that couldn't be scrubbed away. I closed my bedroom door and sat down at my desk. The laptop still had droplets clinging to it. I grabbed a cloth and started wiping each key, every crevice, doing whatever I could. But within minutes, I knew it was beyond saving. The circuitry was fried. The screen stayed black. The entire machine was now just a cold, useless block of metal. With no other option, I picked up my phone and logged into the company's internal system. I left an urgent message asking Matt. So, I am the only one here. I was trying to hang out and wait a second for little Lee to come in, but I guess she's busy this morning. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. And remember, if someone comes in your path with any nonsense, any meanness, or anything like that, remember that you meditated and that your soul is great. And don't worry about these people, right? Let them be mad alone. I'll talk to you later. Have a beautiful day.